Welcome to the Shreveport Connection with Tommy, and this video is about the Impact Wrestling results for this week and partial next week. It says there was 2 segments for next week's event, which was actually basically one because they all had the same intentions. But okay, here we go. Breaking news on Jesse Sorensen's injuries. He actually suffered a broken C1 vertebrae at Against All Odds pay-per-view on Sunday night. And this is the vertebrae of the top of the spine that connects the spine to the skull. Sorensen had lost feeling in his extremities at the pay-per-view and is still hospitalized, but able to move his arms as he does have feeling in them. Earlier this afternoon, Sorensen was able to feel a tingling sensation in his legs, but could not exactly move them yet. New York Giants' Brandon Jacobs is already backstage for the Impact Wrestling tapings in Orlando, but he was not the one they were trying to get a hold of. He was replacing the Jason Pierre-Paul that was scheduled to appear. But his reason for not appearing was that he's exhausted from the Super Bowl. And there's no sighting of Vince Russo. Well, Russo has gone, left the company, been replaced. Whatever the reason being, well, he's been released from his contract, and he's no longer with TNA Wrestling as the storyline writer. Fox Sports reported that Pierre-Paul's teammate Brandon Jacobs will take his place and appear at the tapings for tonight's tapings, and he is expected to be involved in some sort of confrontation with Kurt Angle, but won't work in an actual match. Well, you'll find out in this next episode. And thanks to Eric, well, he's been at the last several tapings of the event. I guess he lives in the Orlando area, so thank you again, Eric, this week. Following TNA Impact Wrestling spoilers for this coming Thursday's episode being February 16th, 2012 in Orlando, Florida. That will air on Spike. World Champion Bobby Roode opens the show and has Christy Hemme to reintroduce himself. Roode brags about Against All Odds until Sting comes out. Sting announces Roode versus Jeff Hardy with the title on the line tonight. It will be a no time limit and no disqualification match. Well, Bobby Roode beat Jeff Hardy in the match to retain his title. The match went all over the Impact Zone. They fought back to the ring, and Hardy was ready for the win. He was ready for. Then when Kurt Angle came out, Angle laid out Hardy, letting Roode get the win. So another screw job finish for a main event match to start off an actual show. But they may not do it that way. They may just put that as your main event, because they did the main event for the following next week's show at the end of the taping. It was after the first week's taping. Well, okay, James Storm beat Bully Ray to become the new #1 contender to the world title. Ray attacked Storm after the match until the New York Giant Brandon Jacobs got in Ray's face. Ray spat beer on him. Jacobs shoved Ray to the mat, and he just had to come out and break him up and separate him. They retaped the finish to the Hardy versus Roode world title match instead of Angle knocking Hardy off the top rope. This time he threw him into the steel steps so Roode could get the win. So, I guess it was botched. Zema Ion and Austin Aries beat Alex Shelley and Shannon Moore. And they all fought after the match, so I guess it was kind of like a fatal 4-way after the match was over. Madison Rayne came out before the Battle Royal. Yes, there was a Battle Royal for your TNA Impact Wrestling for this Thursday, as it was advertised during or after the pay-per-view on Sunday. Madison then won the 10 Knockouts Battle Royal by last eliminating Velvet Sky. Madison had been sitting with Gail at ringside watching the match. It didn't appear that she was even in the match, and Gail got upset after she won it and gets the title shot. Sting called out Bobby Roode to the ring. Again. Sting announced Roode versus James Storm with the world title on the line again. Roode hits Sting with a low blow and beats him up with the world title. Wow. Eric Bischoff, Ric Flair, Gunner, and a random woman came to the ring for a victory celebration. They talked about taking out Garrett Bischoff at against all odds. Eric talked a bunch of trash about his son and acknowledged that he isn't here tonight. Eric tells Garrett to think twice about getting involved in the wrestling business ever again. That ended this week's tapings, and now for next week's partial taping, which is supposedly the main event for the 23rd, February 23rd. Well, here's the two segments for the 23rd Impact Wrestling episode for Monday night that was taped tonight. Thanks to Eric again for the spoilers. The rest of the February 23rd will be on tomorrow night's episode. New York Giants player Brandon Jacobs comes to the ring and talks about his friend James Storm. Jacob calls out Bully Ray for spitting in his face last week. Well, Ray does the mic work, does good mic work, but says he's not going to waste his time on someone who barely got any yardage in the Super Bowl. Well, Jacobs exits the ring and chases Ray off to the back. And then your main event of the show is taped. James Storm and Jeff Hardy beat Bully Ray and Kurt Angle in an ODQ match. Brandon Jacobs was in the corner of Hardy and Storm for the match. Jacobs choke slammed Ray through a table towards the end of the show. Jacobs and Storm then celebrated to end the show. And that ends my taping. The results for the TNA taping for this week and partial next. Thanks and have a great night. What's left of it? Y'all can see it tomorrow night for the remaining of the 23rd and probably the 30th. That would be March 1st. Okay. Anyways, see y'all soon.